Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome back to Reiki Zen, and welcome to a video with me here again. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been doing lots of meditation videos, so if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen them yet, then have a check out. Go to my playlists on my channel and check out the meditation playlist, and there is a lot of meditations in there, many that I've just recently done. I'm going to keep churning them out. I'm going to do one every week, pretty much, all being well, hopefully, and I'm going to try and do them every week on a Monday, which is going to be called Meditation Monday. And then them videos are going to be there, well, forever, basically on my channel. And it's basically to start your week off right with a meditation on a Monday. So I've discovered a new thing. It probably isn't new, it's probably something I've just discovered because I'm not the overly most savvy tech person, but I've just discovered the schedule capability with it, and creators on here will be like, what, you've just discovered it now? Oh my god, get back in your hole. But yeah, I've just discovered the schedule capabilities, and I've also been using an amazing video editing tool on the laptop software, which is called, I think it's ClipChamp or something like that. It's through Microsoft. Really good, really simple, really easy to use, and it's got really cool features. So I might do a video about that as well in the future, about the various things within that. However, today's video, what I want to talk about is, who do we trust? Who do we trust anymore? And because I work part-time alongside the healing and alongside the content creation, things like that, I do see a lot of stuff within employment, within the working world. I see a lot of stuff going on, and I've just shared a post today about making sure that you use actual checkouts rather than self-scans, because that's, it's all AI driven, AI automated, and there is kind of there's a fine line between accepting it and using it and having it controlling our everyday life, our everyday existence. And it seems to be becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. And even things like this, making a video and understanding algorithm, which is again artificial intelligence, understanding the various words that you need to use. And I was talking to at work the other day about this, and you basically have to think of, when AI comes into the world, you basically think of it as a baby, as a child, because when a baby is born, it has no knowledge, and over time we have to teach it what we need to do, how to live a good life, how to be respectful to other people, how to do this, how to tie your shoelaces, how to say yes and no, and how to agree and how to disagree, and all the different things in life. And that's exactly the same as AI. It's very much like bringing up a child. So as it's starting to develop and unfold, there's new aspects that come within life and within the AI agenda, I suppose, that it then needs to relearn. It needs to be given new instructions or new ways of understanding what different things are. So I think we have to be extremely careful, and with regards to this, and there is a very fine line between using it for our advantage and using it for it to just basically take over. And this is another part of the awakening and the agenda that is against humanity, which many of us probably already know about, but the likes of the WEF and all that sort of club that are fighting to stop the awakening and the ascension, and they are really struggling. They're having a really hard time with it, but at the minute it seems to be extremely quiet. It seems to be a bit too quiet for my liking. They keep throwing things out about Ukraine and Putin and other things going on around the world, political things, voting like what we had not the other week in the UK, which again is just another part of the system to create divide and to create division and to create that split between people. Again, all based around colour, red, blue, and it's all based around races, and it just the split continues, and it's just becoming so vast, it's becoming so endless. And another discussion I was having with someone the other day is because of there's so much going on, it's hard to pinpoint and hard to say, right, well that's what we need to focus on, because every part of our life has been enveloped by this huge vacuum of corporations, of business, of companies that want the best for you in life, but in actual fact they don't really. They just want to kind of suppress you and bump you off and keep you quiet and out the way and dumb down. And I was in a supermarket last week, and it was a real eye-opener for me, because it was the first time seeing it in a large brand UK-based supermarket. And I don't normally go in this supermarket because they're a little bit too expensive for me. I don't go in there. But the name of the supermarket begins with an S, and that's as far as I'll go. And it ends with Rees. S Rees. So you put the middle together. But we were in there, and we went through a normal checkout. It was me and my mum. We went through a normal checkout and spoke to a normal person who smiled and greeted us, and my mum knew him because she used to serve him years ago when she used to work in a supermarket on the checkouts. And back in them days, there was no such thing as self-scan. It was all through an operator, all through a till, using cash, and my mum used to work it all out in her brain and her mind. The tills back then, they didn't work it out for you. You worked it out in your head. So she's still very astute and likes to add things up. So much so that if we ever go shopping and we need to split the bill and we get our two lots together, she'll work it out on the receipt. Whereas me, I use the calculator in my phone. But my mum, and she'll work it all out. She says, right, this is how much you owe me, or this is how much I owe her, or whatever. And yeah, very much, I suppose, old school thinking. But is it old school thinking? Because there seems to be a lot of posts. Again, another post I shared yesterday on my Instagram. And if you want to follow me on my socials, I'll link them below in the descriptions box, as I do with all my videos now. But there was a picture. It was an old lady. It reminded me very much of my grandmother in a garden. And basically it was like a meme, and it said, your grandmother didn't need to use the system, because everything that she needed in life was within her reality, in her system. She had everything. And my nana and granddad did. Both my grandparents did. They had everything that they needed within their gardens. They grew it, and nothing went to waste. Everything got used. So one set of grandparents, they would have all the veg. They would grow everything in the garden. They had onions, potatoes, broccoli, fruit, veg, apple trees, the whole lot. They had everything. They had chickens for eggs, everything. My other grandparents, they had like fruit trees and fruit bushes. So she used to make lots of fruit pies and things like that. And she would get sausage meat from the local butchers or mince meat from the local butchers, or she would buy a piece of beef and she would cook the meat, but the meat wouldn't go to waste, because then she'd put it through a mincer and she'd make a mince meat pie, or she'd put the meat into other things like sausage rolls or pastries or little pies, and so nothing got wasted. Really, really such an amazing time, and you look now at how people are living and eating so much of this processed shit and processed crap that isn't food. It's not real food. It's all full of poisons and toxins that are in there to kind of dumb you down and shut you up and keep you quiet and make you ill and be more needy of the system that has put you there in the first place, because that is feeding the very monster that we have allowed, or that we have created. So anyway, getting back to this supermarket situation, I digress again, as I always do on this channel, so forgive me, but it's just my kind of flow because there's so much information that I just want to talk about. But so we were in this supermarket and they had these self-scans, and you had to go in at one end and you had this bank of self-scans at either side, and at the very end there was a gate to get out, but you had to scan your receipt to get out. And so people were coming in and going along and then scanning the receipt to get out. Some people didn't realise that they needed a receipt, so they had to go back to their partners or whatever because they wanted to just be out, and they had to wait for the receipt to be able to get out. And I was just like, my God, it's just like cattle. It really is like cattle, like sheep, just being put through the line, the slaughterhouse line or whatever. They're just being put down. And I was just watching it. I was just like, oh my God. And that's the first time I've seen anything on that scale, like that, with the gates and being kind of corralled in, and being able to get out by scanning your receipt or whatever. And I'm just thinking, my God, what is next? You know, and this is what it's come to. This is what we've allowed. This is what we've been accepting of, because we're now at a place where we think, well, we don't need cashiers. We don't need to pay them a wage. We can get rid of them, and they can all be engineered and put through by AI. But what happens when all those systems go down? You know, because technology isn't always fail-safe. It often packs up and often breaks down. It's quite unusual. It's quite scary. And it makes you wonder, and I had this same conversation with somebody at work, and it makes you wonder what the world is going to be like in 30, 40, 50 years' time. If we allow this to continue, is there going to be a point where people just say, whoa, no, enough is enough? I mean, I know people are awakening and people are waking up, but when you see the amount of people that just accept it, because of the system, because everyone's in a rush, because everyone has to do this, they have to get there, they have to be at there by that time, they're on the dinner break, they have to do this, they have to finish this appointment, they have to get there. Oh my God, like, what is going on? Just stop the world, jump off, get off, because it is just getting ridiculous. It is getting absolutely ridiculous. So who do we believe anymore? Who do we actually believe? Because we know that the media is full of lies. We know that we aren't told the truth. We know that all we get told is what we need to know to try and keep us dumbed down, which again is another lie. We know that the system isn't here for our highest good, and there is a lot of evidence and a lot of truth coming out, and has been for some time now, to do with various people behind corporations and behind the pharmaceutical industries and all that sort of stuff, that have designed these systems for this exact purpose. So how far is it going to go? Where's it going to go? How is it going to play out? How is it going to affect us in the future? And it does feel still like a race. it does feel like a race between the light and the dark, I suppose. That's the only way I can describe it. And I think that there always will be that light and dark, because of this yin and yang balance, I suppose. But feels to me from that side of things that it's very much of it's not a natural darkness. It's like a created darkness. It's some sort of deep demonic, I suppose, demonic energy that has been created and manifested by these people that we don't know them from Adam. They're just kind of like, they're not really elected by us, although there is we have voting systems and what have you, but at the end of the day, all these people, whoever gets in charge, they all have their own agenda, and they're all going to be governed by these people above them. It's just a puppet show. It really is just a puppet show. And if people are still believing this shit, this puppet show, then you just think, man, you got to just give yourself a slap and just snap out of it, because it's just getting to a point where you just think, what's the next step? What's the next stages for this, and what's the next stage for us as a collective moving forward? And I think we've got to keep doing what we're doing. This is why I'm doing lots of meditation videos. We've got to keep meditating. We've got to keep our vibration high. We've got to keep the collective's vibration high. And as we know, that this energetic energy that we all emit, that we all have this frequency of, it transcends and it moves through the collective. We are one consciousness. We're not individual. We are all one. We are a collective of energy. Although we've been kind of put into these meat suits and given the identity of a name, of a job number, of a tax code, or whatever, but fundamentally behind that, we are one consciousness, and we have the power over everything with this one consciousness, and we can govern, we can create, and we can manifest what we need once the vibration is right for what we need to achieve, and what we need to achieve for the highest good of us as a collective. And that's where we need to look. That's what we need to believe. That's who we need to believe is within us, deep down within us. And again, it might sound like a cliche. It's like, go within and all that sort of stuff that people say on a spiritual journey. But it really is true. Going within is the key to all of this. Such a powerful place to be, and when you do start to go within and you become more conscious of yourself, you also become more conscious of the world around you, and you start seeing the flaws and the gaps and the holes within the systems, within how corporations are run, within how businesses are run, and how they like to manipulate and control people that are within them, whether they're employees or whether it's the population around them that are reliant on these systems. But then we also have to find systems that work out of that. And I'd said a couple of years ago I think it was on like a live reading that I did, about communities, about coming together as communities and creating communities. And we've seen that happen with a lot of people. A lot of people are looking for land, a lot of people are looking for plots where they can go and do that, or people moving, just living out of a van or living out of a car and not being dependent on the system. And, so there is this level of defiance. There is this level of protest that continues, and again, we talk about protests. Look at the King's coronation. There was people out there that were doing peaceful protests and saying, "Not my king," and they were being kind of pushed out the way, and all the banners ripped down and shoved in the back of a van out the way. Where's their right to peaceful protest gone? And that's something else that the UK government is trying very hard to get rid of. Your democratic right to an opinion, to a voice. It's just it is quite Orwellian, and he was such a visionary of kind of what was to come, as many people have been over the years, and we're now starting to be aware and tap into a lot of this stuff that we're seeing in everyday life, and we're like, oh my God, I never thought that would happen, and here it is, right in front of your eyes. People being corralled like sheep in supermarkets and being hoodwinked into various things. I think we just need to get deeper into ourselves, really get deeper into ourselves, and I think meditation is definitely one of the keys to this, for your journey, whether you're beginning your awakening journey or whether you're well on your way, and maybe wondering which way do we turn now, what do we do, who do we believe, who do we listen to. And again, when we tune into that and tune deeply into ourselves, we can hear our higher self, we can hear this collective consciousness saying, this is what we need to do. And I think that's another reason why I've been delving deep into meditation, and I found a huge, profound shift in my own energy, not just from making the meditations, but increasing my meditation on a daily practice, and incorporating more meditation and more Reiki within my life. And it's had such a profound effect on my wellness, on my balance, on my I suppose awareness of what I'm feeling, but also what I'm seeing out there, because a lot of stuff we can see, and it can shock people and push them back into a state of fear. But if we're aware of it and we know, we can see it, then we can adjust accordingly, and we're not coming from a place of fear, we're coming from a place of strength and awareness and power. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at, I think, on our awakening journey. We need to be in a place of strength, awareness and power. So meditation, keep grounded, keep strong, keep focused, and keep harnessing your light into the path, the world that we need to create for the betterment of humanity, but also the betterment of Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, and also all of her beautiful, beautiful nature that is around us. We need to protect nature as much as possible. We need to look after plants, trees, insects, bugs, birds, all animals. We need to look after everything, because they were here a lot longer than before we were. And if they go, we go. So we need to look after every part of humanity and the nature that is around us, because we are nature fundamentally, and that is again part of this consciousness. So just a few thoughts for today. Who do we trust? We need to go within, listen to ourselves. Okay, have a beautiful day, take care of yourselves, bye for now.